Thank you so much for being with us as we continue to celebrate the 55th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge. I am your host, Rob Powers. The challenge of the show is the same as it's always been. 3 local high school teams compete for points by answering questions. We've got math, science, history, a few other topics as well. One more time, let's hear it for today's 3 teams: Benedictine, Berea-Midmark, and Charles F. Brush. All the teams appearing this season will be playing for a share of $20,000 in grant money for their school from Nordson. Let's take a look at the leaderboard as it stands right now this morning. At the end of the season, the 3 teams with the highest scores will be back to compete not only for the money prize, but also the right to call themselves the champions of our 55th season. So let's get it started where we start every Saturday morning. It is our lightning round. All 3 teams compete in this round. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We will subtract 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. This match will start each team with 100 points. All set? You can't always come in first. These questions will deal with persons and things that are second. Second. Identify the following. He was the second man to walk on the moon. Answer is Buzz Aldrin. This is the second largest ocean. Brush.
Atlantic.
That is correct. This is the world's second largest island. Berea-Midmark.
Australia.
New Guinea is the answer there. This second U.S. vice president became our 3rd president. Brush.
Thomas Jefferson.
That is correct. Following Augustus, he was the 2nd Roman emperor. Answer is Tiberius. This is the 2nd lightest gas. Berea-Midmark.
Helium.
Helium is correct. This is the 2nd largest planet. Brush.
Saturn.
Saturn is correct. This is the 2nd book of the Bible. Benedictine.
Exodus.
That is correct. This is the 2nd letter of the Greek alphabet. Benedictine.
Beta.
Beta is correct. For our final question this round, joining us this morning from the Cleveland Orchestra, here is bassist Charles Paul.
From March 21st to March 23rd, the Cleveland Orchestra will be playing the 2nd Symphony of Jan Sibelius, a composer from what Nordic country whose capital is Helsinki?
Berea-Midmark.
Finland.
Finland is correct. That's the end of that round. Way to go, everybody. We are off and running. We'll be back with more of the 55th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this.
Nordson is honored to sponsor a program that celebrates academic excellence. We're a global industrial technology company with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. We donate 5% of our U.S. pre-tax profits to charity every year. Over the past 30 years, the Nordson Corporation Foundation has donated more than $100 million, and our employees have volunteered more than 100,000 hours. And now, we're pleased to support the legacy of Academic Challenge. Thank you all for watching, and the best of luck to all the participants.
Here we go. Welcome back to season number 55 of the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like more information about any of the schools that appear this season, you can scan the QR code you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen with your phone. That code takes you to the news5cleveland.com Academic Challenge page. We have links for all of this season's school websites right there. Time now for us to play Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points, no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Before we get to the questions, let us meet our teams. James, you are Benedictine's captain. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm James. I'm a junior, and I play hockey and lacrosse. I would like to thank Rob Powers for being here.
There you go. So would my family. Thanks, James. Hi, Jacob.
Hi, Rob. My name is Jacob, and I play soccer and lacrosse at Benedictine.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm a junior. I'm in the band and pro-life club, and I'm very happy to be here.
We're happy all 3 of you are here. Thank you very much. For your questions, Benedictine, we go to Elizabeth, the Berea-Midmark captain. Open board here, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4, please.
4. It's all yours. It's all set. Here we go. All right, remember, this is all you. Here we go. His work on the photoelectric effect won a 1921 Nobel Physics Prize for what German-born scientist, better known for his 1905 theory of relativity?
Einstein.
That is correct. For hundreds of years, the people of China did their calculating on what simple instrument made of wire and beads? Answer
No answer.
is an abacus.
Yeah.
The abacus. According to the Bible, all the dishes on King Solomon's dinner table were made of what precious metal, whose symbol is AU?
Gold.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. The different types of steel consist of various materials mixed with iron, but all steel must contain which of these?
Carbon.
That is correct. African Berber horsemen were recruited by the ancient Roman army and stationed as far east as what river that joins the Tigris in Iraq?
Euphrates.
That is correct. The push for the humanitarian treatment of animals got a boost with the publication of what Anna Sewell novel about a mistreated horse?
The Black Beauty.
Black Beauty is correct. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Evaluate for A if A equals 2. Answer?
20.
21. 21 is the answer there. What 32nd president, faced with a stalled economy, tried to encourage Americans with his fireside chats on the radio?
FDR.
That is correct. Nice round, Benedictine. Okay. Our second team this morning comes to us from Berea-Midmark. Elizabeth, you are the captain. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a senior, and I play trumpet and marching band. And thank you for having us tonight.
Thanks for being here. It's great to see you. Hi, Jacob.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm a junior, and I'm a trumpet in the marching band.
Good for you. Good for you. Welcome. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Rob. I'm Emma. I'm a junior, and I play trumpet in the marching band.
There's a lot of trumpet players here today, huh? Is that a prerequisite to go to? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for being here. For your questions, Berea-Midmark, we go to Brush Captain Lucy. Lucy, we're down to 1, 2, or 3?
2, please.
2. Okay, Berea-Midmark, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. Thousands of solar panels have been installed to provide power for the airport in what mile-high Colorado city?
Denver.
That is correct. General Cornwallis might have been more successful at Yorktown had he studied the city's location on what type of land formation that also describes Florida?
Peninsula.
That is correct. The Pacific Northwest was the destination of pioneers traveling on what frontier trail, named for the territory which later became a state?
Oregon.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Petroleum is a mixture consisting largely of which of these?
Hydrocarbons.
That is correct. There was only 1 year of peace during the 43-year reign of what 17th, 18th century Russian Tsar known as the Great?
Peter the Great.
Peter is correct. You can read about 7 generations of the Buendia family in Gabriel Garcia Marquez's novel titled How Many Years of Solitude?
100.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. What is the area of this parallelogram? Answer?
20.
60. 60 is the answer. A few years ago, the National Museum of Medicine placed on exhibit 3 vertebrae from the body of what 20th U.S. president assassinated in 1881?
Garfield.
That is correct. Nice round, Berea-Midmark. Okie dokie. And that takes us to Charles F. Brush. Lucy, you're the captain. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Tell us about yourself.
Good morning. My name's Lucy. I'm a sophomore. I'm in AV and on the girls' varsity bowling team.
Good for you. Hi, William.
Hello. My name is William. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I run varsity track and field.
Congratulations on that. That's fantastic. Hi, Josh.
Hi, my name is Josh. I'm a senior at Brush High School, and I do AV, and I enjoy cycling.
Welcome to you. Welcome to 3 of you. Welcome to all 9 of you, in fact. It's great to have you here this morning. James, you're the captain of Benedictine. You get to pick. We're down to envelope 1 or 3?
1.
1, okay. Brush, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. 70% of all land animals were killed 250 million years ago in a gigantic flood of what molten volcanic rock?
Lava.
That is correct. New Jersey borders the Atlantic Ocean, but the original Jersey is an island in what body of water separating Britain and France?
The English Channel.
That is correct. In 2011, President Obama became the first chief executive since Kennedy to visit what U.S. Commonwealth in the Caribbean?
Puerto Rico.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here is your science question. Which of these terms refers to the process whereby a young bird or animal learns to recognize specific individuals and its own species?
Imprinting.
That is correct. The mention of lasagna in his book Travels gave rise to the legend that what 13th century traveler first brought pasta to Italy from China?
Marco Polo.
That is correct. To the horror of his friends, what doctor turned into a fiend in a story by Robert Louis Stevenson? Answer?
No answer.
Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll. That's okay. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as an integer. Answer?
No answer.
The answer is 28. 28. Our entire West Coast, from Canada to Mexico, became U.S. territory in 1848 during the term of what president in office during the Mexican-American War? Answer?
Andrew Jackson.
James Knox Polk is the answer there, but again, good round, Brush. Good round, all three teams. Look at those scores right there. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Today's judge from Cuyahoga Community College is Adam Osberg. Adam's an adjunct accounting instructor. Adam, thank you so much for being here again this morning. Great to see you. Welcome back to the 55th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we start our next round, let's take a look at the score so far. How about this? Check this out. 260, 260, 260. We have settled nothing so far. Let's keep it going. Time to go head-to-head again. This is our picture-perfect round. Each correct answer here is worth 20 points. For a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. Again, this is for all three teams, so hands on the buzzer, eyes on the monitor down front. All set? Here we go. Michael Crichton's The Great Train Robbery was written before he stole readers' hearts with what novel whose sequel was The Lost World? Benedictine.
Jurassic Park.
That is correct. This 9th century Mayan sculpture was found on an island off the coast of what large Mexican peninsula that has many old Mayan sites? Brush.
Yucatan.
That is correct. This exhibit displays items used by a Native American people who mainly inhabit what westernmost Canadian province? Brush.
Ottawa.
British Columbia is the answer there. Sorry. Which number is the smallest of these three? Please, choice 1, 2, or 3. Answer? Brush.
2.
The first choice is the answer there, the first choice. This scroll portrays Minamoto Yoritomo, the first Japanese ruler to hold what S-initialed feudal? Berea-Midmark.
Shogunate.
Excuse me?
Shogun.
Shogun is correct, yes. Choice here. Voluntary responses to external stimuli are generally controlled by which of these? Berea-Midmark.
Cerebellum.
Cerebrum. Cerebrum. Sorry about that. Ducks are adversely affected by what man-made detection systems whose name is an acronym for radio detecting and Berea-Midmark.
Radar.
That is correct. This issue of Cleveland Magazine highlights our area's best restaurants. These businesses follow food safety rules, such as fridge temperatures being set no higher than what degree? 8 more than the freezing point in degrees Fahrenheit. Brush.
40.
40 degrees is correct. That was the end of that round. There we go. Don't go anywhere. We're going to mix it up when we come back. Time now to meet our advisors from Benedictine, Melissa Joyce. From Berea-Midmark, James Stevens is here. And from Charles F. Brush, Peter Engel is here. Thank you so much for being here. Great to have you this morning. Time for us to mix it up. One at a time, I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Benedictine, you're up first. All set? Yes, here we go. If you search within this phrase, you'll find the name of what largest desert in Asia?
Gobi Desert.
Gobi is correct, yes. If you're in a state of euphoria, you are experiencing which of these?
Blissful happiness.
That is correct. This is the scientific term for the tail-shaking behavior that what honey-producing insects do to indicate the location of nectar-rich flowers.
B.
That is correct. What same first name was shared by this modern scientist and this governor of colonial New Amsterdam? Answer?
James.
Peter. Peter's the answer there. Sorry, fellas. The indigenous people who live in the Arctic are known by which names?
Inuit.
That is correct. You can complete this statement by filling in the blank with what word that describes a collapsed star whose gravity is so great, not even light can escape its pull.
Black.
A black hole, correct. Nice job there, Benedictine. Okay. Berea-Midmark's turn. All set? Here we go. You'll have no major problems if you find hidden here the name of what Middle Eastern country whose capital is Amman?
Jordan.
That is correct. Which of these terms would best describe a person who suffers from sleepwalking?
Somnambulist.
That is correct. In 1860, a route was established between these two cities for the riders of what horseback mail service?
The Pony Express.
That is correct. Fill in the blanks here with what same word to complete the nicknames for Japan and the countries within the Arctic Circle?
Sun.
That is correct. All 3 of these rocks are volcanic in origin, but which one is usually light in color and often has so many air pockets it floats in water?
Pumice.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. To complete this quotation from Proust, add the name of what organ of the body that has auricles and ventricles?
Heart.
Heart is correct for the bonus points. Okay, Brush, you're up. All set? Here we go. Before you break for lunch, find hidden in this phrase the name of what South American country with a long Pacific coastline?
Chile.
That is correct. If you had absolutely no energy, you could best describe yourself with which of these adjectives?
Lethargic.
That is correct. The cuteness factor is overwhelming in this 2017 documentary about puppies of what breed, named for an L-initialed region of Canada?
Labrador.
That is correct. Fill in the blanks here with what same word to complete the names of a Middle East war and a major World War II air-sea battle?
Yeah. Gulf.
That is correct. Of these 3 seas, which one separates Greece from Turkey?
Aegean.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. This observation comes from what civil rights leader honored by a federal holiday in January?
Martin Luther King Jr.
That is correct for the bonus points. There we go. We're back at it. Stick around. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag runs coming up right after this. All right, let's finish up strong. Let's take a look at our scores so far as we hit our final round. 3rd place, Benedictine, 380 points. 2nd place, Brush, 405 points. Leading the way, Berea-Midmark, 425 points. That's how we get it going here in our final round. It's our grab bag round. This determines the winner. It's a free-for-all. Each correct answer here worth 30 points, but a team will lose 30 points for a wrong or no answer. Again, this is for all 3 teams. Hands on the buzzer, eyes on the monitor when we need it. All set? Here we go. What same word describes both a type of playing card and a tennis serve that can't be returned? Berea-Midmark.
Ace.
That's correct. As a postgraduate student in 1967, Jocelyn Bell Burnell discovered what highly magnetized rotating neutron stars that emit beams of Brush.
Magnetars?
Pulsars. The first marsupial to have its genetic code fully deciphered was a tiny variety of what animal? The only native North American marsupial. Brush.
Opossum?
That is correct. This is an aerial view of what dam built across the Nile River in the 60s? Answer is the Aswan Dam. How many degrees are there in the sum of the interior angles of a regular pentagon? Brush.
360.
540 is the answer there. At one point, it took over 7,000 volumes to print out all the entries in what online encyclopedia started by Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger. Brush.
Wikipedia?
Excuse me?
Wikipedia?
That is correct. Perseus avoided being caught in a job freeze while slaying Medusa by looking at her only in the reflection of what protective object he carried. Brush.
Shield.
That is correct. What Ethiopian, that's our final buzzer. We go right to the scores. Here we go. In third place today, 380 points, Benedictine. Second place with 435 points, Charles F. Brush. And the winner of today's academic challenge with 455 points is Berea-Midmark. Way to go. That was a heck of a game. Be sure to join us next week. We've got teams from Avon, Elyria, and Valley Forge. I'm Rob Powers. We'll see you back here next Saturday for the next Nordson Academic Challenge.